some toys in here.
Hey, what's up everybody? Today is the Man-Child. Alright, so today up for review, finally going to get a chance to go over the Masters of the Universe Origins Turtles of Grayskull Leonardo figure. Or at least so it's the last figure now as part of the Wave 1 series that I'll be reviewing. So yeah, I already got all three of those figures from the Turtles of Grayskull Wave 1. I reviewed them all. If you're interested, you can go check it out. And I was waiting for Leonardo. I got him a while back. He got stuck in transit. And I was most excited about this particular turtle, or Leonardo himself, because he was always my favorite Ninja Turtle in that Ninja Turtles franchise. Just something with the blue colors, you know, the blue bandana, face mask, double swords, and that he was the leader. And it's just he was always level-headed, going back to the movies or the cartoon. I don't have a single Ninja Turtle in my whole collection. I have hundreds of figures, NECA figures, Motu, and I like the Turtles, grew up with them. As I said, I watched the movies, played the games, but never collected any Ninja Turtles. So now the Turtles of Grayskull line finally gives me a chance to mix Motu and Turtles and now collect some, and I really like what I'm seeing. And real quick, bring in Leonardo's card for closer look. So if you're not familiar, the Turtles of Grayskull now has its own logo exploding, very similar to Master Universe did. Up in the left-hand corner, we have the Origins-inspired He-Man, and of course, to the right-hand side now, we have the art of a Leonardo. And obviously, the card says Leonardo and just states the heroic Ninja Turtle leader. And of course, has some exploding rocks, which is unique, going back to the Origins of Master Universe exploding rocks, but colored a little different, have some cosmos going on, things like that. And now they also added this cool sticker on the bottom of the cards for the Turtles of Grayskull figure. So we just have the Master Universe logo, of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo, Nickelodeon up top. And now, spinning Leonardo's card art around, taking a quick look at the art on the back. Got some awesome inspired Origins art, I want to say. So check this out. We have Leonardo doing a jump sidekick, holding double swords in hand, going head-to-head with Shredder. Shredder's looking really cool. Can't wait to get him in hand. I think he's going to be part of Series 2. Got Castle Grayskull in the background. So once again, I assume, yeah, they're fighting on Eternia, some more planets and cool cosmos. And of course, we got two more logos up here, Master Universe. And then once again, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo up on the right-hand side. And dropping down to the bottom of the art, so check this out. Leonardo finally has a bio. So the first three Ninja Turtles I reviewed as part of Wave 1 series were, I want to say they were international releases or some type of early marketing release. I'm not really sure. I got them online. But none of them had bios or any wording in the comics. So now Leonardo finally has a bio here, and I'm hoping the comic has some wording as well. And then dropping down to the left-hand side, so they just show a little image of the weapons or accessories it comes with. In this case, looks like they have like a pair of split swords or power swords. I guess taking inspiration to the He-Man and Skeletor split power swords in the vintage and line in the Origins. And if you combine the two halves, now you get the power katana sword. And then, of course, they got the cross-sell for all four figures, part of Wave 1 series, which I already reviewed. And, of course, I'll bring them in later and compare them all up against Leonardo. So, before we take a closer look at Leonardo and his accessories, of course, I'm going to go over the comic once again. So, if you already seen my other three Wave 1 videos, or if you didn't, of course, I checked out, at least the images of the comic in each one. I don't want to bore anybody, but what's cool with this one now is that, yeah, it has wording. And it even says by the power of pizza, which is awesome. So, of course, yeah, the cool art on the front. And, let me see. So, if we open the comic up, now, every video I went over the images. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it in close. And if you want to try to pause, anybody's interested, you kind of read the wording. I didn't even read it yet. It's going to be a surprise to me. I'll do it later. So, I'm just going to, like, kind of, right, moving around like this. You can check out the images if you want and the wording. Pause and read it. I'll try to go slow. Check all that out. Yeah, it's so awesome to finally have wording. What's going on? Yeah, looking good. Those little turtles coming in and stuff, right? There's our mouse jaw. Hope you can see the wording. Good enough. Alright. Bring that close up. I'm kind of reading as I'm looking through the camera, too. Alright, we're not doing too fast. Always pause and read it. To the next page. Okay, here we go. We got Krang over there. Let me make sure it's nice and clear. Oh, next page over here. Yeah, I like that Teela too. I think that's Teela back over there with some kind of turtle shell thing. And here we got Mikey. Now I heard Mikey's going to be part of Wave 3. I heard he was going to be exclusive originally, but now he was confirmed part of Wave 3. And he is going to have that hairpiece and battle armor on him. I'm hoping that can come off, but I don't know. Alright, so just try to make this quick. And I heard Leatherhead too is also going to be an exclusive figure. There we go, there's the end. Awesome. And now here's an overall look of Leonardo at a card with all his accessories and his setup, how he comes in package. And taking a closer look at Leonardo's head sculpt and articulation. So yeah, this is exactly how I want my Turtles in the Motu line. You know, very vintage inspired, going back to the main design of Turtles. And what I mean is no helmet, you know, just this bandana or eyepiece with the little trails hanging off. I wish Mattel would have did that with all the Turtles originally, where so far Donatello has a helmet. It's technically not removable, but you can remove it, and when you do, from what I've seen in my figure, it's got a it's like a plug in the back and glued. So I'm assuming they have some type of head like this, but yeah, you'll have a big cut in the back, and I wish it just would have came off. And I have a feeling Raphael, who's going to come and wave, I think two, he also has a helmet on. I don't know, I have a funny feeling it's not going to come off, it's going to be pegged on, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so as far as the articulation with Leonardo's head, right, very typical, look all the way to the left. Right, he can look down about that far and go all the way back. The head gets hindered by this pelt piece, but plenty of articulation. Yeah, I love that bandana piece. Now, that's all part of the sculpt and just painted. To where I think Donatello's looked like a separate piece that was kind of also plugged into the face under the helmet. Yeah, just cool how they have the white eyes with Leonardo. I love that blue color too. Again, blue's always my favorite color. Another reason why I like Leonardo. But I like the grin. You know, it's a cool grin for Leonardo himself. Kind of serious, but just trying to think things out. As I said, he's always seemed to me to be the rational-minded one. And, of course, that's kind of made him a good leader. Now, I'm going to bring in Donatello for a second. Sort of a quick face comparison. Of course, I'll bring him in later for, you know, total comparison with the other guys. But, yeah, you can see it is a different face sculpt. Obviously, with the teeth and how it's painted. The grin with Donatello and... you know, Leonardo is just completely different. Even the head looks, I want to say, a little wider on Donatello than it does Leonardo. And another point, too, is they're total different colors. I mean, yeah, obviously, he's just I was hoping they'd be similar colors. I mean, in one sense, it's cool because it kind of gives you a little something different instead of the same retooled turtle, side armor, and stuff like that. But now, if you wanted to take a spare Donatello figure down the road, if you got one, and use the head and paint this mask purple to match that armor. If you wanted to do that, and I'm assuming down the road you're going to have another head with this, a regular head, I would think. You can't really do it because now the skin color doesn't match. You know, it's totally different color. Anyway, that's my opinion on that. But yeah, so spinning them around, right? You got the little trails coming off. They're pretty cool too. They're real rubbery, flexible. And this piece too is plugged in. It can spin all around. And you probably pop it out if you wanted to, and there would be a hole in there. But I like the design. Just for the overall look, colors, and yeah, just have a plain head for Leonardo. And real quick, I'm going to remove the head from the ball peg. So, you know, typical Origins ball peg, and just a closer look at the bottom of the head, the peg, you know, and just how everything is painted and the overall design. All right, so putting the head back on for the moment, moving down to the chest buck and cross armored. I really like this cross armor piece, or this particular design for Leonardo. I think it works well on him. Yeah, check this out. So you got this these upper and lower straps are like molded in a metallic, you know, like dark. I don't want to say metallic. It looks like just a dark silver color tone. They have this outer piece of armored painted or molded in this metallic blue color to match these arm bracers and this belt. Have some silver inside of it. I like the L too, obviously for Leonardo, but just a couple different shades going on there. It has like a black outer sketch, and then it's like a white, but has a bluish tint out of it. You can kind of make that out in the camera. I like that. It's pretty neat how they went about that. And now you can see how the straps obviously go all around the top and bottom, but taking a look at the bottom and spinning them around, so checking out the back of Leonardo. So he has the same exact shell, which I'll compare to Donatello, right? So this is Donatello's hair. I mean, everything from the paint to the weapon holder, the size, painting that black, you know, sculpted piece is exactly the same side. You can't see with this pelt piece. And then this pelt piece too. So taking a look at that, it's yeah, it's molded in a tan color, but it's the same exact pelt piece as the Man-at-Arms. So I'm going to bring Man-at-Arms in for a second, which I already reviewed him. But you can see sculpt and design aside the color. Now, Man-at-Arms had a different style shell. It's different, but yeah, they just reused that. Now, it looks like to remove the armor, so we're going to have to pop the head back off again. And then just like Donatello, it looks like the shell piece will, okay, so pops right off. And if you're not familiar with Donatello or seen a review, this is just basically the shell. I already went over, you know, compared it to Donatello's. And yeah, it's basically a shield too. You can see the hand grip in here. And then going back to Leonardo with the shell off, you're going to pull this back of the armor piece off that little tab. It's the same exact setup as Donatello. It's just going to, this whole piece will flip over the neck. And then it looks like it's easier to break the waist apart. And then remove this piece off the waist. And while we're at it, I'm going to also remove this loin protector. And now here's a closer look at Leonardo's armored off the body. So yeah, you could just kind of, we already looked over this, it was cool. You can see that little plug, just how, you know, flexible and soft it is, the overall color and design. And that, now that pelt piece, again, going back to Man-at-Arms, it can be removed, but you can see there's pegs that go up inside there and they're glued. So if you wanted to pull this apart, you're going to risk tearing this, or you'd have to heat this up, try to break the glue. And technically, this, you can remove this, but now you're going to have these big pegs sticking up. It's not, again, it's another piece not really meant, you see that come off, it's all glued in there. So it's removable customization, but technically it's not meant to be removed. And then here's a closer look at that loin belt protector or sash kind of setup he has. So yeah, it's molded in metallic blue. These pieces are supposed to be separate, you know, but they're not. They're just all part of the sculpt. It has a little turtle design up in the front. Check that out, how soft it is. It's just one piece, and you have to break the waist apart to put it on and off. And now here's another look with Leonardo with all that armored off, so you can just see the overall buck chest design. Yeah, exactly the same as Donatello. It's pretty cool how they have this like outer plate piece as the abs. And obviously it's a whole new design, different design from the standard Origins, but it's painted at yellow. We already talked about the skin. It's kind of a brighter green, different Donatello. Has a typical loin cloth and belt as all the other Origins. And so there's the front and back. It even has a little shell that's sort of sculpted to the back if you want to remove the armor. Now, I think it would have been cool if they had a way to attach this shell shield piece, if you didn't want to use the armored like that, make it even more iconic. Going back to Ninja Turtles, especially with Leonardo, because he just has a regular head. Now, you could probably use some double stick tape if you don't want to get involved in drilling holes or some putty or something like that. You know, tack it on, that could work. That would be my idea. But anyway, that's what they include. So as far as the articulation, so let's leave these pieces on for the moment. I'm going to leave the armored off because I think the articulation is going to work all the same aside the head a little bit with the armored. So as far as the arms, we can go up, down, right, forward, back, the whole deal. Can spin at the elbow. Once again, I'll leave these on. Go up at the face like that. He has these sculpted on typical Motu wrist bracers. They're just painted metallic silver color. Exactly the same, once again, is Donatello. And pretty soon I'll bring him back in once again with the armored off and compare these two. The other arms are all the same, right? As far as the articulation, out, down, spin, the whole deal. It's exactly the same as all Origins. Has the three, fingered hands, typical of the Ninja Turtles. Oh, piece fell down. And they're on hinge joints that can go in and out, can spin all around, and they have standard pegs that can pop out. He has the same exact fingers and sculpt position as Donatello. And if you're not familiar, I'm just going to pop one of these out, right? It's just a standard Origins peg. And we'll have the hand off for a second. So taking a closer look at these arm guards, they're, just in the shape of a turtle shell kind of thing going there. Right, and as I said, they're molded in metallic blue color, which is pretty cool. So they're pretty sloppy. You can see you kind of push this piece up. It sort of locks between the bicep and tricep area, and the pointy turtle piece will go up to the shoulder like this. But with the hand off, it's going to slide right off the arm. And then moving over to the left side, it's the same exact piece of armored, and that you can also spin off. I don't think you have to take the hand off as well, so you pop right over the hand. And now here's a closer look with those pieces off the arms, and they look exactly the same. I don't think it matters what side they go on, left or right. And now here's another look at Leonardo with everything stripped off the body as far as armor pieces. Of course, I put the hand back on. So we already went over the arm articulation with those pieces on. Get a better look, the muscle aesthetics. The bracers, the other hands are all the same, going out with the hinge joint, spin all around. We know he can separate the waist, which I already did, spin at the waist. And just to finish up the articulation, so he can do a full split, right, which is cool for some ninja kicks. He can, as far as the articulation, do a front kick or go all the way forward like this. Go back about that far. Bend up at the knee, right, spin at the knee. Can spin at the boot. We know these boots that come off. It's kind of like a half an ankle boot. Same exact setup as He-Man, so if you didn't like the turtle feet hanging out, you could pop these off and put some He-Man boots or Skeletor boots or whatever you want on it. Yeah, just painted a light brown color, exactly like Donatello, but now the wraps these are painted blue to match the bandana up here, and then he has the 2 turtle toes here, which is pretty cool design, and they're on a hinge joint. They can go down and up and rock side to side, and the other side's all the same, boot, foot, whole deal. And now moving on from the articulation, why I still have Leonardo all broken down with the armor and stuff. And here's another comparison, once again, with Leonardo against Donatello, with all the armor stripped on both these turtles. So you can see just the overall design, aesthetics, paint, all that good stuff. Yeah, everything is exactly the same, as I already mentioned, side the paint. And yeah, side this helmet piece come off, but everything is, yeah, identical. Alright, so moving back to Leonardo, all set up with the main cross armor and that lower belt guard. And I'm going to leave those 2 big bracers off, so for people who want to set them up like that, don't want these big pieces, think they're goofy or just don't like them. So yeah, that's his overall setup without those. Yeah, I said this belt piece, I like that. So as far as the shell, getting back to that, this is how it works as a shield. I'm just going to put it in the left hand, so you're just going to kind of lock it with the handle like that. And now here's a quick look at Leonardo with a punching fist raised, ready to strike in that shield. Once again, in the left hand, how you can hold it. And you can hold it the other way too. I think it makes more sense like that. You want to check that out? Looks pretty cool. And then once again, if you didn't want to use it as a shield, you want to put it back on so you can just see how the lower handle would hang lower. But you want to kind of just slide underneath that pelt and push those 2 pegs in the peg holes on the back of the armor. Now I'm going to put these pieces back on. So once again, you can slide. You don't have to take the hands off. And same with the left side. Okay, so I have Leonardo all set back up at the moment, and moving on to accessories. So he comes with another 4-arm guard that's once again molded or shaped into like a turtle-like shell. And it doesn't matter what arm it goes on, the left or the right, but the image shows it on the left-hand side. And then to put this on, it looks like if you want to heat the strap up, you could push it over the hand if you wanted to, but I think it's easier to take the hand off. And then with the hand off, the round part of the shell from the image looks like it's going to slide up like this. And then put the hand back on. And now here's a quick look with that set up. So yeah, we have Leonardo all set back up, obviously, with these shoulder pieces. And these you have to mess around with. They're really supposed to be higher on the shoulders by manipulating those straps into the biceps. They slide all over the place for the most part. But it's going to look like that. And of course, it would have been cool if you come with 2 of them. But if you want a second one, you'll have to buy 2 Leonardos. You want to equip them on both arms. I mean, I guess one's okay. It's more, I'll call it the defensive arm. That's the arm the shield will be in on, whether it's the right or left side. And he'll hold the sword in the other one. And then for his final accessory, Leonardo comes with his dual pair of swords, but in this case it's a split type of katana sword, and as the box package art said, once you put it together, it makes the power katana. So I like the design of these. That's a really good idea, I think. I don't know how I feel about the split sword design. I mean, once you put them together, which I'll do in a second, you'll make a full sword. So once again, if you want 2 of these, you're going to have to buy 2 Leonardos, just like that 4-arm guard. But aside that, yeah, look at that design. Pretty cool. Really sturdy too. It's not too flimsy. Even the handle's solid. You know, it doesn't feel like that gummy plastic. Molded in a metallic silver color, so you can see there's 2 different peg ends. And you know, if you're not familiar, I'm sure most people are. Sort of takes inspiration, as I said earlier, from the Motu Origins or vintage style power swords, right? So here's Skeletor's sword and He-Man's sword. And you would put these 2 together, and going back to the original vintage toys, whoever got a hold of those 2 power swords, they would go into the vintage Turtles of Grayskull and open up the drawbridge kind of thing. That's sort of where the inspiration came from. But anyway, in this case, with Leonardo's sword, it's making another type of power sword. And it's it. These 2 are going to snap together to lock, and now you got a full sword. And now here's a quick look or battle pose, once again with Leonardo set up with the now full power sword or power katana. And just put it in the left hand. I brought the shield back, put it in the right. So you want to display him with that sort of setup. Looks really cool. And now, of course, I set up Leonardo with his 2 katana swords split once again, as has always been seen in the series. You know, they look really cool. It's just the insides, of course, you see these peg holes, so kind of throws it off for me. I like it much better when you put the 2 ends together, make it that full power sword in one hand. So, of course, I'm going to have to pick up 2 Leonardos and make 2 solid power swords and keep one in each hand with the double swords. Once again, how I always was familiar with them in the series. And, of course, I put the turtle shell back on. So, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, that's my favorite look. And then flipping them back around, taking a look at this shell and this weapon holder. Once again, we know it's exactly the same as Donatello as far as the sculpt. So, looks like with the sword split, we could put one in that way, and I'm trying to see if there's room for both. I'm assuming there is. It's really tight. I don't know. Try to force it in there. Maybe if I go the other way around. Yeah, the peg, I mean, it looks like you heat this up or force it, but it's really tight. Try to get those in there. So putting them split power swords back together as one, I think it's a lot easier, and that's kind of what it's meant to do as far as putting that in there. And even that's really difficult. Surprise. It's like, maybe it's just my particular turtle shell, but look at that. I have a hard time getting that, down inside. But yeah, for the most part, with a little force, you probably can heat this up. That's kind of how it would fit. And you can, once again, put both power swords in. Yeah, it would soften this up, but it's, yeah, you'd think this would be a little bigger. But anyway, it's kind of how it looks. And I think it's, yeah, intended for the one sword to be put together. And moving on, of course, here's a final look and comparison with all four figures, part of that Wave 1 series I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So, right, we got our Leonardo, Donatello, we got our Mutator, Mutant He-Man, or just He-Man to call him, and our Turtles, or Turtles of Grayskull inspired Man-at-Arms, I calling them. I think they're really cool. As far as mixing and matching of parts, what I usually do, or part swapping, I don't really see anything worthwhile, unique to mix out or change with Leonardo. He's kind of his own thing, just he's got the blue bandana, and of course, the blue parts are going to match that. He has his own unique cross armor with the Alpha Leonardo. Not that you need that. I don't see anything that I can really think of top of my head. So skeletal armor, you want to do something wacky, it's a whole other video. I was thinking about maybe changing some of this Man-at-Arms armor over to him, just for something different, because he does have that, once again, blue bandana or face mask, and it could maybe match some of these blue highlights and mix up with the orange. Maybe we'll try it real quick. But aside that, I think it's a great, crossover, and it's really cool having these figures in hand. And yeah, I'm officially a Turtles collector with the Motu Origins line now, and I can't wait to get Raphael and Mikey as soon as they, show up in series 2 and in 3. And now here's that quick custom setup or some part swapping between the Turtles of Grayskull Man-at-Arms, of course, over to Leonardo. So that's a really cool look. It works well, just with the different armor, even these shell pieces. Even though they're different color blue, they can work with that face mask. Now you see that. All right, so I just left the dual swords, but I changed things up. So I did use his, parts that he came with on just this arm, right? So we got this piece, and then I put that forearm guard on this side, and then I used the Man-at-Arms turtle shell over on the left side as Man-at-Arms has it set up, and then, of course, this wrist bracer on that side. Now, they can go left to right, right to left. It doesn't matter. They do work. Or you can get two of these and two of these if you got two Man-at-Arms and that kind of thing. Yeah, this piece looks really cool. Got the lower belt guard on, this ankle thing, or this knee and shin protector. And once again, if you got two Man-at-Arms figures, you could put two of these on. I tried that in a review to show it. And I also put the Man-at-Arms feet on, so now you have full boots, which kind of work because these newer boots almost look like they have turtle toes or something tucked in them if you see that. Right, and then if you want that same look with the turtle feet on, you just leave them on, kind of looks something like that. Right, you get the point. But yeah, really cool setup. I just left this original, turtle shell on. And if you want to change that out and use Man-at-Arms or something different, if you didn't care about the weapon piece, then you just take the Man-at-Arms one, right? Just snaps right in, like this, and you have a whole different turtle shell on Leonardo. Okay, so that's my overall review on the new Master Universe Origins Turtles of Grayskull Leonardo figure, and mainly all the Series 1 figures that I reviewed and brought in for comparisons. I'm not disappointed at all of Leo. He was one I wanted the most in the series, just, because he was always my favorite Ninja Turtle, and I like the way they went about him. I like the armor pieces, cool, they're easy to come off, if you didn't want them on. I like them, they're different. I really like this cross armor with the L, and just how it connects with the shell in the back, and you can use the shell as a shield, just like Donatello. That pelt piece is okay, but if you want to take it off, it is possible. Like I said, there's going to be pegs sticking out, kind of not meant to come off. Yeah, just, and it has a plain head, just going back to that vintage style of Ninja Turtles. I wish they would have did that with Donatello. And you have this little piece here that moves around, and it could come off if you want. The swords are really cool, the design. And I get the concept of merging them, like the Power Sword, going back to He-Man Skeletor Sword, but they are hard to hold if it isn't a full sword, so you got to kind of position them flat in these fingers. And I think they look better as one sword. So I'm gonna have to pick up another Leonardo down the road and become cheaper. Make two of them, two solid power swords, and display them with two different power katanas in each hand as a full sword. I think that looks a lot better. It's kind of my only gripe, but aside that, they're still cool, and I'm super excited to have Leo, and I think they did a great job with this line. I really like it. And of course I want all the vintage inspired origins first, because I always get that in comments. They're coming, Turtles just another thing, like the cartoon figures are trying to mix in for sales and to try something different. I think Origin's going to do okay and keep going. I really like this line. So I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, take care.